And this is the second part called Rebirth, which came out in February of this year.
What's the third one going to be called?
Don't have a clue yet.
Oh,
Afterbirth?
Huh?
Refund.
Did you say Afterbirth?
That is so graphic.
Happy Nerd Year, everyone, and welcome back to Eat Sleep Nerd, a show where you can check out, go AFK, and relax with us as we discuss all things nerd. In this final 3-part episode of 2024, we're going to be taking a look back and celebrating the best things that we watched and played this year by unveiling our top 5 best movies, television shows, and video games of 2024, as voted on by the entire Eat Sleep Nerd team. In this first part of our 3-part episode, we'll be discussing our favorite video games of the year. Now, before we get into it, please, if you have not already, subscribe to this YouTube channel, click the like on this video, leave a comment, let us know what your top 5 video games are of the year, and most importantly, share us with your friends and family. That goes a long way into supporting this channel. Now, let's get right into it. I'm your dorky DJ, Corey Winter. Joining me here for this discussion, we have our Eat Sleep Nerd team, Jason Summer.
Hey.
Nick Murphy. Josh Winter. Christian James. And Britt's not here, but yeah. Well, she voted. But hey, guys,
Hello.
Here. How's it going?
Happy end of year.
Good. That was good, y'all.
Okay.
We did good.
I didn't realize what you were doing
It was backwards.
until I started doing
Oh,
my
was it?
thing. And I was like, okay.
It definitely went for.
It's correct for us. All right.
It did, didn't it?
Yes, it did.
Yeah. Oh, well.
Oh, well.
The thought was there.
So it's the end of the year. We made it to another year of Eat Sleep Nerd.
We did.
That's crazy.
We all watched some things. We all played some things.
Yeah. Yeah.
Went to Atlanta.
Oh, okay. Is that on the list?
We conned the dragons.
I'm just saying it happened in
Oh,
2024.
it did happen. It did happen.
We did.
We went to Huntsville.
We went downtown.
Oh, wait.
Yeah.
Drove down 72.
Yeah.
Hit that interstate.
Mm-hmm.
That is, if anybody's driven the Huntsville interstates and parkways, that's an adventure in
It's
of
a feat.
itself. Yeah.
Mhm.
So, yes.
Okay. So I tasked you guys with thinking back through the entire year of 2024. Woo! 2024.
You need another example? 2024.
Two.
2024.
Right.
Oh,
Except it's backwards.
it is backwards, actually. So you guys made lists.
They don't learn it one way.
Yes.
Individual lists of your favorite things that you consumed this year. Not food. Video games and TV shows and movies.
Right.
There's a lot of the same thing. Same.
Yes.
So it was a list of consummations.
What?
You said we consumed media.
Yeah.
So they were consummations.
It's the eat of Eat Sleep Nerd.
Right. That is sure.
Yeah.
Anyway, so you all made your individual lists.
Yes.
And you guys were just saying that you kind of struggled to remember everything that happened this year. Because in previous years, we actually kind of watched a lot of stuff together, played a lot of stuff together. We didn't do that much this year. You guys kind of all went off in your own little areas and played your own little things, watched your own little.
Corey got a girlfriend.
Yeah, I had very
Was
little
that this
time
year?
for. No,
I
that was
was gonna
last
say, I
year.
thought that was before.
Nah,
Really?
it escalated.
I guess so.
That's the plan, right?
Escalation is the goal.
Yes. We didn't watch as much stuff this year. We didn't play
Right.
as much stuff this year.
No.
Is it because it was a down year for media?
I was going to say there wasn't as much stuff.
I think a lot of stuff hit 2023, and we were hoping 2024 would be the continuation of that, or next season or whatever. And for whatever reason, it just takes 75 years to produce things now. So,
But I'll also add there's a lot of hidden gems in these streaming services. Like Apple TV was putting out a lot of good stuff for a little bit, especially this year. That show, I was going to say Silo. Like, it wasn't bad,
Yeah.
but it just was a slower burn than expected. Because I got
just
through
renewed for like 2 more seasons.
yeah.
Yeah.
So I got through like the first season a little bit. But it was a struggle.
I always forget Apple has a streaming service.
Yeah.
I just
And that's
canceled.
part of the
apparently-
problem, actually.
And apparently, like, most of their stuff is kind of a banger.
Yeah. That's where that show Newsroom came from.
Newsroom C, which is supposed to be really good.
Wait.
For All Mankind, it's supposed to be really
Newsroom
good.
was HBO.
Not Newsroom.
The morning show.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that one.
Yeah.
That's a whole different ballgame.
Same
The
thing.
morning-
Yes.
the
Not the
newsroom was
same
HBO.
thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not the same thing.
And isn't that psychology show with Harrison Ford on that channel too?
Mhm.
Yeah.
What is it?
Shrinkage. Yeah.
So
Yep.
yeah, but they don't. Yeah, a lot of people don't have Apple, including me. So
I
didn't watch any
literally
of that.
just canceled my subscription today because I don't use it. So
I mean, the prices are just getting exorbitant.
Too much.
Yeah.
well, then let's get into it on a happy note. So
Woohoo!
a few things to explain about how this is going to work. First, let's talk about the nomination and voting process. So as we were saying, all 6 of us,
The
Britt
Academy.
included- What?
The Academy is how I would like to be referred to.
Or
Or
the
vote.
Illuminati.
No, the Academy.
I like that
Academy.
better.
Okay.
The
I
peanut
don't want
gallery.
none of that.
So, as I was mentioning before, all 5 of us here, plus Britt, who unfortunately cannot make it this evening, we all voted on individual top 5 lists for the things that we enjoyed playing and watching this year.
In
So
secret.
Sure. So, for example, Jason,
Yeah.
you took the favorite things that you watched this year in
Yes.
terms of movies
Yes.
and television shows
yes.
and things you played this year of video
Yes.
games.
Yes.
You made your individual personal favorite lists.
Correct.
Then, Josh, you went and did the same thing for
Yes.
things that you watched
Yes.
and played.
In secret.
And yes.
The list, not my consummation of the products.
Yay.
Okay. So then we took all 6 of those lists and I did some mathematical calculations, some algorithms, some formulas, some algebra. There was some percentages and weighting and vote counting and who knows what else. And I did some scientific things.
Scientific.
Yep. Some mathmatology. And I got
Pythagorean.
our finalized ranking for the top 5 movies, the top 5 video games, and the top 5 television shows that we played and watched this year.
So translation, Corey put a lot of work into this. So everybody sing his praises in the comments.
Yes.
Please.
Whatever. He scored it 1 through 5.
I have a whole fancy spreadsheet with color coding and formulas all throughout.
And that's when you know it's serious.
it's very serious.
When it's not just a
Everything's serious.
spreadsheet, but there's color coding.
I just saw you in khakis in front of a big board, like Steve Kornacki, being like, "This is where they go." And this is anyway, Allegheny County.
All right,
To
and
the
then
list.
the way this is going to work, obviously, since all of us consumed individual things and stuff that didn't necessarily have any crossover with other people. So, for example, we all went and watched several movies this year, but we didn't all watch the same television shows this year. So it's very, there was a lot of television shows that only had 1 vote each. A lot of these things we did watch and play together, but not everything. So all of this is formula based. We added some weight to some of these votes to make everything even out. So we're going to start with honorable mentions. So things that didn't get a lot of votes, but maybe were ranked highly on your individual lists.
Okay.
Okay. And then we'll go from 5 to 1. We're going to start in video games. Okay.
Okay.
That sound good?
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. So starting in video games are honorable mentions. So these are video games that did not make our final top 5 best of 2024 list, but we did have some individual votes across the board from our Eat Sleep Nerd team for video games that they enjoyed. So
The Academy.
our honorable mentions, Josh, you put Concord on here.
I did.
So let's just go ahead and start with that. Why?
What's that?
Okay. So I didn't say it was my favorite. I said it was one of the best of 2024. And I think it was one of the best of 2024 because for those of you who don't know, like Nick was saying he didn't know, Concord has been in development for years and was funded heavily by Sony, like hundreds of millions of dollars. And it was supposed to be the Fortnite killer. And it sold like 3,000 copies when it came out. They put a lot of identity politics stuff into it. And so like it was dead on arrival. Like just no one even wanted to go near it. It had nothing to do with whether or not the game was actually good. We don't really even know if the game was actually good because no one played it.
It was bad.
Okay, so it was bad. So on top of all of that, it sucked. And so I love it because to me, it was the culmination of this movement of every studio feeling like they have to have a battle royale style game to the point where it's been ruining a lot of games that should have been great. Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League was ruined by companies wanting to have a Fortnite style business model. Like that should have been an amazing game from the studio that gave us the Arkham series. Like that should have been killer, but they wanted to Fortnite it. So watching Concord blow up and like waste $500 million for Sony is one of the best things I think that could have happened to the gaming industry.
Like as in a lesson.
Yes.
Got it.
So to me, it is one of my favorite things and one of the best things of 2024 was that game massively blowing up.
But you played it.
No.
Oh, you didn't play it.
No.
Okay.
No.
Okay.
No
Really
one
doesn't
played it.
qualify for this list whatsoever. So
No. I also only played like 3 games this year. But
Honorable mention.
yeah, honorable mention. I knew it wasn't going to make the list. That's fine.
okay, let's get into our actual honorable mentions. So we have Frostpunk 2,
Rude.
Life is Strange Double Exposure, and that's actually it. So
Wait, what was the first one?
Frostpunk 2, this was also on Josh's list.
The Heg?
That's actually
This-
a really good one that
This was
I
actually
did factually play.
yeah, this was Josh's 4th place game.
Do tell.
Yeah, what's that?
Oh, Frostpunk, I don't know, came out maybe 4 or 5 years ago. It's a city builder game, but it takes place in a post-apocalyptic world, but it's frozen. Like everything, so it's a new ice age.
It's frozen.
And it's frozen. And the entire game was based around this group of survivors that basically had one heating coil, and you had to build your city around that, and you could only expand so far before the weather would start harming people, and so you had to expand the infrastructure to keep it warm. But the only viable fuel source was coal. So the more heat you had to put out, the more coal you burned, and the faster you'd go through your fuel. So it became this really big balancing act. So anyway, that was like 5 years ago. This new one has taken it to the next level, pun slightly intended, where you now have multiple cities, and instead of controlling individual citizens and what they do, you're controlling hundreds of thousands of people. And it's still in that same setting, but it's how do you progress past where you were in that first situation and actually move towards not just surviving, but actually having a civilization? How does that change your mores and your, what is societally acceptable in a situation like that, where any given day, if your resources run out, it's over. What do you tolerate? What rules are allowed to be broken? How authoritarian are you? Are you good natured? Are you? They're all going to have pluses and minuses. So it's actually a very in-depth city builder that balances not just the city building, but literally how you run it and what's allowed.
And it's all focused on getting heat to everybody.
Correct.
Kind of like Roller Coaster Tycoon.
Exactly like that.
Okay.
And then yeah, Life is Strange Double Exposure, the other honorable mention. This is the long awaited sequel to the original Life is Strange game that just hit my heart so hard. This sequel didn't hit as emotionally strong as the original one did, but
Well, its title was a pun.
Yeah. It was nice to see the return to those characters. So
Yeah.
I do recommend that one. That was my number 5.
So I know you like those games.
I do like, I do
So it was
very
not
much.
on your list at all
Because
because
I
it was
didn't
an
play
honorable mention. Okay.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah. So what is it worth the buy? Because I was looking at,
yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
Okay. All right.
This is the one where you make choices and stuff, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah.
Isn't that all games?
No, it's pretty. Most games are linear. Like this one is like you can
Not
pick up
linear.
places.
Yeah.
Like what's that?
Very emotional.
What's that?
Okay.
All the Telltale games?
Yeah, but I'm thinking one in particular. You were a detective.
Detroit Become Human.
No, and it was raining a lot. And
LA
Rain?
Noir.
No, it was
Rain?
Oh,
that.
oh,
Heavy
yeah,
rain.
Heavy Rain.
Okay.
Yeah.
We just
Ooh, that was a good one.
Yeah. Played that at Justin
Ooh.
Ross's house all the time. Like, we did like a 24-hour play of it one time.
You would like Detroit Become Human.
Yeah, same
I
studio.
watched
I think
some
it's the
of
same
it.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, same studio.
Oh,
I
Yeah.
watched
okay,
some
cool.
of it. It seemed cool. Yeah.
All right, let's get into our actual top 5 list. So our 5th best video game of 24 as voted on by the Eat Sleep Nerd team. Star Wars
Hey.
Outlaws.
Hey.
So Nick, this was on your list. This was on my list as well.
Mhm.
And you were singing its praises. So yeah, good game.
I was actually playing it before I got over here.
Nice.
Okay, again. I really enjoyed this. I mean, it is very Assassin's Creedy. It's very It's an Ubisoft game, 100%.
Sure.
But I really enjoyed it. I thought it was a lot of fun. It wasn't as open world as you kind of would want it to be, but there's a lot of all the planets are big. Like there's a lot of stuff you can do, so it didn't feel like it was too small. But there's just some things that you would kind of expect from a big open world game like this, but that you didn't get. But I really enjoyed it. I'm an expert Kessel Sabak player. And I just really, really liked the game. I thought the levels, because that's not a thing anymore. The missions were really good. Most of them were really good. I didn't find myself, especially with Ubisoft games, having to look things up. Like, where is this place I'm supposed to go?
Yep.
Mhm.
They did a really good job of making it, making everything accessible. Like that it didn't punish you for not, paying attention to certain things. I thought. I will say, spoilers, at the end of it, when Indy 5 comes after you,
Mhm.
I had to like stop the game for a moment because I was like, this is terrifying. I was very scared. And then I got back into it. But I loved it. It's a really cool game. I like Nyx's little interaction. It's just, the whole thing is just great. It's really nice.
I very much love this game. I wanted a little bit more out of it just because I
agree, yeah.
I did play Star Wars Galaxies back when that was a thing, and that was a much bigger open world set in the Star Wars universe. So I was hoping to get a little bit more of that. But for what Star Wars what Star Wars Outlaws was, fantastic game. It felt like a living, breathing world in the Star Wars universe, which a lot of Star Wars games have not really felt like, which is kind of sad for a Star Wars property because it's supposed to be this big universe that you can live in. So Star Wars Outlaws was great. We obviously recommended it. It's on our top 5 list. Yeah. So no one else played it in this.
No.
That's sad. It's
Waiting for that $20 bin, dog.
Okay.
I will say, like, if you don't, this game only plays one way, or I guess 2 ways, but you either are stealthy or you're loud, right? Which is why it's an Assassin's Creed game in the Star Wars universe. But I do wish that there were a couple of different ways for you to accomplish a mission, or to where you don't have to always shoot. I wish that there were a couple of different ways to do that.
Yeah.
I mean, I really, really enjoyed it. The space battles were okay.
Mhm.
There's different enemy territories and things that you should try to avoid, and there's always that balancing act between what syndicate you want, in your favor or whatever. There's some really neat aspects about it, but it's if you don't like it at first, like when you first start playing it, that's pretty much the game, so you won't like it. Like,
You're not gonna warm into it.
Right.
Okay.
Either you like it at the beginning or you don't like it at the beginning. You're not gonna like the game.
But if you needed to scratch that Star Wars it's
100%. Yeah.
So if you didn't like Assassin's Creed, would you like this game?
No, probably not.
Okay.
Probably not.
All right, let's move on to our number 4 best video game of 2024, according to Eat Sleep Nerd. Indiana Jones and the Great Circle. So Josh, you actually like last minute added this to your list.
Yeah, I did. I had to text Corey and be like, I need an edit.
So yeah, this is not at all the game I don't think anyone was expecting.
No.
But my gosh.
Oh my God, it's so
fantastic.
good. It's so good. It was number 2 on my list.
It was number 2 on mine.
Yeah. No, it is incredible. Troy Baker sounds just like Harrison Ford. It's eerie. They did license Harrison Ford's image, so it really does look like Harrison Ford the entire time. Some of the other characters, there's a lot of characters from the trilogy, because that's all it was. From the trilogy in
Nice.
in the movies, and I don't know if they just weren't as much a focus, or if maybe they didn't get the rights for their likenesses as much. So you can tell they're inspired by those characters, but
Short rounded in this?
no, or at least not that I've come across yet. But
Round short.
yes, but no, they were feeling confident and good about their game when they decided that the tutorial at the beginning would be the opening to Raiders of the Lost Ark, shot for shot.
Yeah.
Oh, fun.
That's amazing.
Okay.
Yeah,
I think that's what I saw.
Like you
before.
play through the opening of getting the idol.
Mm.
It is incredible.
So they flexed.
They went for it. And that's the best thing. That's the biggest lesson I think that you could learn. I would rather them have kind of missed trying to do that than like phone it in and just try to play it safe the whole time. And the fact that it works just makes it even better.
I was very much surprised by the gameplay itself because I assumed it was going to be a very linear, just go chapter to chapter playing the mission.
No, it's open world-ish.
Yeah.
Not fully open world.
There's side missions, there's go and solve all these random puzzles and go collect these things, but like you don't have to do those things, you just can.
So is he just like in the jungle and you happen upon a monkey shrine or something?
So I'm not super far into it. I am currently disguised as a priest in the Vatican.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, sure. Is this 1940s?
Yes. So it takes place between Raiders and Last Crusade. Because there's like a 5-year gap there that they haven't really covered.
Isn't explained, yeah.
And it's, I mean, and like Marion is still kind of sort of his love interest. Like they leaned hard into it. It's a love letter to Indiana Jones. So it's good.
Cool.
I hope they keep making them.
Yeah, I actually made this argument months ago, but then IGN went and stole my idea. Where this is like video games are the best way to continue franchises when the actors from movies get too old.
Sure.
Like this is the perfect way to continue doing Indiana Jones with the actor, but without aging them.
Yeah. 38-year-old Harrison Ford is still Indiana Jones in this game.
Yeah.
Like it's perfect.
And Harrison Ford gets a check from it.
Yeah. So he's on board.
So like,
Yeah.
we're good.
The check cleared. Like,
Didn't he just praise what's his name, the guy that did the voice acting?
Yeah, they came out during the Video Game Awards a couple weeks ago. I guess last week. Harrison Ford came out with Troy Baker and Todd Howard, the maker of the game.
So brave.
And he was like, wow, yeah, this is Indiana Jones.
Yeah.
I couldn't do it better than myself. So yeah, it was awesome.
no, cool. I mean, like it's eerie, dude. Like the little grunts, the huffs and things like it sounds like
That's cool.
every little bit of it sounds like Harrison Ford.
He must have done some like Heath Ledger type like research.
Just locked himself in a
So
hotel room.
if you know who Troy Baker is, he is like the voice of video games. He does everything. He was Joel in The Last of Us. He was, I can't even think of all the characters.
Is he Nathan Drake?
No.
Okay. I didn't think he was Nathan.
He did a very awesome impression of Mark Hamill's Joker for...
Dude, yeah, you would have thought it was Mark Hamill. Like, it was nuts.
Yeah.
Point is, dude can make himself sound like whatever he wants to.
Right on.
And he's living his best life doing
He's
it.
a vocal chameleon.
All right. Moving through the list. I scared Nick. Number 3, best video game of 2024 according to Eat Sleep Nerd. We actually have a tie.
Wow.
Hey-o.
Final Fantasy VII
Very
Rebirth.
different game.
Can you get any further apart on the spectrum?
And NCAA College Football 25.
Wow.
So the funny thing about this is actually we had, I think this was 2 first place votes for Final Fantasy VII Rebirth and, yes, 2 first place votes for NCAA College Football 2025. Can we guess whose first place votes these were?
I can't guess who'd be the second one for Final Fantasy VII.
It was
Britt.
Jason and Britt,
Yeah.
2 first
Oh.
place votes for Final Fantasy, and
Nice.
Christian and Nick, NCAA College Football, 2 first place
Interesting.
votes.
Thanks, Britt.
Oh yeah.
So let's talk about Final Fantasy VII.
So if you've been paying attention this year at all, I've been talking about Final Fantasy VII forever.
No way.
Yeah,
What-
totally.
I've
right.
never heard of it. What-
Yeah, anyway. So way back.
Wait, is that the one where the title keeps getting longer every time you bring it
Yeah,
up?
that is that one.
Final
It's either
Fantasy
that one
VII
or
Rebirth
Outer
Part
Worlds
1,
Firefly,
the DLC.
Rebirth, Wild, Outer Wilds. Anyway, one of those two. So Final Fantasy VII initially came out in 1997. It was so well loved by the gaming community that they decided to go ahead and do a remake. And they've broken up the remake into 3 parts. The first one was called Remake, came out in 2020. And this is the second part called Rebirth, which came out in February of this year.
What's the third one going to be called?
Don't have a clue yet.
Oh,
Afterbirth?
Huh?
Refund.
Did you say Afterbirth?
That is so graphic. And basically, this covers the second third of the video game from 1997. The great thing, this is kind of a controversial video game because it's built upon the original storyline, but the whole premise is that you're not stuck to that storyline. Everything's changing. And so there's a battle of the fates, essentially, of trying to keep the actual timeline going, or can you change the timeline? Duel of Fates?
Yes.
Okay.
It's his fault.
Audio. jungle.
Anyway, so it's spoiler for anybody who has not played Final Fantasy VII or doesn't know anything about it. There's a very tragic point in the game where one of your main characters gets killed off, and it wrecked so many people's lives back in 1997. And the game ends at that point in this. But they did it differently, and you don't know what the hell is going on yet. And you have to see what happens in the third episode. Anyway, so from a conceptual perspective, it's really amazing and really fun, and it twists your brain into pretzels, and it's wonderful. The gameplay is beautiful. The voice acting is spot on. Still way too many side quests and mini games. Some of the mini games are so hard that you give up on them, and
we know Jason's a completionist, so he's doing every single one of those.
Well, yeah, I can't because I can't do them. I just can't do it anyway. But yeah, still number one even with all that.
All right.
Solid.
So football.
Yeah.
So fantasy football.
Anyway,
This was the return of the NCAA video game franchise. It's been gone for over a
since
decade
2014.
now, right?
So it's been since 2014. Of course, like any other like sports game, nothing's changed other than the graphics. But I mean, they improved on a lot of the gameplay, especially if you're trying to like run a dynasty in the game. They have like hundreds of different uniforms, so it's like changing up the game in itself. It's still nostalgic, but more fun because of some of the new features. Of course, Alabama's still hard to play. They're always going to be hard to play.
Maybe not in next year's edition.
Oh,
that's fair.
Roll Tide though. But yeah, it's just been one of those things that you've just been like waiting on for so long, and it's just been a world. Because I was one of the ones that spent the $100 to get it like before everybody else.
Those 3 days early.
Yeah.
Yep.
And
It's just $30 a day.
just haven't put it down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good.
It's a brilliant game. The Dynasty mode is actually something I recently tried because I'm typically not a Dynasty person. I did
Right.
you have the option. You really have like 3 game modes. You have Exhibition where you just play a game. You have the Dynasty mode, and then you have the create a person mode or whatever.
Yeah. I forget what they call
Whatever
it.
they call it, yeah.
Like
But basically,
career
you start
mode or whatever?
yeah, like
Yeah.
career mode.
Yeah.
You start. You just got out of high school. You determine if you're like really good, or if you can go to pretty much any team and start like a 5-star prospect. You can go to any team, or 4-star, 3-star, 2-star, whatever. You can just
You make a
kinda play-
completely mediocre player.
right, yeah,
And you start the game out losing $40,000 a semester for tuition. And you have to build it up from there.
yeah. Well, but I mean, there is a part of it. You do have to make. You have a weekly schedule, and
Sure.
you have to make time to study. You have to make time to practice. There's a social media aspect to it. NIL.
No, that sounds like it would
deals as well.
stress me out.
Oh yeah, there's legit time management built in within the game. So it's not just you just play football and you throw the ball and run the ball, whatever. Then you have the Dynasty mode where you actually play as the head coach, and you have to spend. You have a weekly allotment of recruitment hours where you go out, like you have your scouts
Okay,
who go out and
okay.
recruit but they go out and recruit high school players. And you can set limits on that. Or if you want to only recruit 5-star players from Florida, you can do that. Or 4-star players from Mississippi, you can do that. And then and you can invite them to come out to a game that you're going to win, that that your team's going to do well on. You can invite them out to that. And there's different challenges with that. 'Cause if you pick a really bad team, you can try to make them win the national championship in X amount of years, or pick a really good team and just go with that. So it's a really, really fun game. They've really expanded it from what it used to be. The gameplay is completely different. I actually think the gameplay is better than it used to be.
Yeah.
Some aspects of it's harder. Like passing and kicking the kicking I hadn't quite figured out yet.
Yeah. The win factor is
Yeah.
a factor now.
Yeah. And last thing, the stadium pulse is very cool. Because with the unique aspect about college football is that, you have these rabid fan bases, you have these monster stadiums. Like
I've never noticed.
Yeah, but like with University of Michigan, they have that Michigan Stadium, the Big House they call it, is the largest outdoor football stadium in the country. It seats like 109,000 people,
That's sick.
something like that. It might actually be 112 now that I think about it, because I think they expanded a little bit. But you go there and like the screen is shaking and your quarterback, like if you hit the R2 and it'll show the play on the field with all the players. But if it's shaking so bad and you don't have like a senior quarterback who's played in a million games, all that stuff, then the routes will actually like change and be different, and they'll kind of move all over. You can't really read it because in the mind of the quarterback, like this is terrifying. Like I don't completely remember what's going on. It's so loud. I don't know what's going on. Just snap the ball.
So to be clear, you're playing a college football RPG.
Kind of, yeah.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
And then like the on top of that too is that you can even look at your receivers and they'll have like little snowflakes under their name, and that just means that they're just cold. They're also terrified.
They're dropping balls. They're not running the right routes. They're slipping and falling.
It's neat.
Like, yeah, it's a whole immersive thing. So like if I'm Auburn and I'm playing Christian at Alabama and say he's up, it's the fourth quarter, he's up 3 and I've got to get down the field. The state of the screen is going to be shaking like crazy. If we try to get down there and we get down there to kick a field goal, my field goal meter is going to be doing this, and I've got to hit it and line it up right in the middle in order to kick the field goal. So it's very, very authentic to what a person would probably actually feel in real life trying to kick the ball.
I love that they've figured out a way to demonstrate the psychology of playing in a video game.
Yellowhammer's just blasting the entire time.
That's really cool.
They got the rights to, what's that, Mobamba? I think it was. Which there was a game at Penn State. I think it was Penn State versus Michigan, I think. Penn State has a massive stadium as well, and they do this thing called the whiteout, where all of their entire stadium is wearing white T-shirts, and they have the T-shirts as well. They go up there, and there was a moment, I think it was last year when they played Michigan, 2023 when they played Michigan. It got so loud that the quarterback for Michigan couldn't even hear his coach on the sideline. And like they were all the way on that side of the field and they couldn't hear his coach. Like didn't even like looked over. It was like,
nothing,
it was
bro.
so loud. Yeah. So they got the rights for that song and they put it in the stadium when it's really, really, really rocking. So you can kind of recreate that feeling.
Oh, that's cool.
It's neat. It's really cool. It's a great game.
And
great game.
One of the intricacies like I really like is like in the dynasty mode is that it doesn't say like you were for your example that you were at a lesser school like Kennesaw State or something like that. Obviously you're not getting 5 or 4-star players, and so they broke it down into different prestiges. Yeah. So you have a coach prestige. You have even down to like if your locker room and your gym is not up to date, they'll rank it from like F all the way up to A+ and stuff like that. And so if you're trying to recruit players, they care about that kind of stuff. And so if you're trying to recruit a 5-star, he's like, you've never been to a championship. Yeah.
Or you don't send players to the NFL.
Yeah, you can't. Yeah, like you have no like. I can't go to the league at this school. So you're starting to recruit like 2 stars, maybe 3 stars.
You've got to manage all that. It's really intense. Like if you really want to be good at it, it's really, really intense.
Well, all right. So
long, sorry.
That's all good. All right. Our second best video game of 2024, according to Eat Sleep Nerd. Helldivers 2.
Did somebody fart? Is that what?
Well,
serious.
In the middle of the year, they kind of did. Yes.
So yeah, Josh, Jason, and myself, we were playing the crap out of this game when it came out. We played it for probably a couple months. Yeah. Then they started changing it up. We just got busy, kind of lost
I was going to say, we quit playing around the time that apparently it got really bad. But we didn't quit playing because it got bad.
It's mostly just life.
Yeah, just life got in the way. And then we're like on the internet and everyone's like, this game sucks. And we're just like, okay. But apparently now it doesn't.
Yeah.
Apparently it's back. I'm back, baby.
Okay.
Full circle.
So this was one of those games that, for the most part, is kind of unique in the sense that you're not playing against other players. You're playing with other players. It's cooperative. You're playing player versus environment. So it was actually kind of a nice change of pace. We weren't playing against each other. We could actually squad up, go take down the bugs, go take down the robots. It was a nice little.
I miss stuff like that.
Yeah.
That sounds fun.
You would like Helldivers, actually. And Space Marine.
Well, I've got Christmas break coming up.
There it is.
So I can do things.
Do you have 1 week or 2 weeks?
And is cross-platform. So
Oh, all I have is a PlayStation. I
I'm
assume
just-
that we
That's
all have
good. That's what we're
PlayStation.
saying.
Yeah.
Well, I have a PC, but it's cross-platform, so
Oh.
it's fine.
So you're the issue.
PC Master Race.
this is always kind of standard anyway for Josh. Just always the
I
issue.
wouldn't participate if I couldn't be the issue.
Yeah. So Helldivers was one of those Starship Trooper type of games. So very.
And they knew it, so
Yeah.
it's good.
Yeah.
It's solid. It is exactly what it's actually a lot like you said earlier. If you do not like the first 10 minutes, you ain't gonna like the rest of it. It is what it is right out of the gate.
But yeah, they just shadow dropped a big update for this last week where they introduced vehicles, a new enemy, a few other things.
The
So
Illuminati
we'll be
or
I'll be
something.
getting back into it.
Illuminate.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I'll get back into it.
It's,
How much is it?
Nowadays, probably. Oh, even when it came out, it wasn't a full
40,
price
it's
game. It was like $40.
$40.
I'll have to research that one. Yeah.
Whatever. You haven't bought Space Marine 2 yet, and I gave you a $50 gift card for it.
Speaking of
Because
Space
I don't
Marine
be
2,
having time.
Call
our
out.
best video game of 2024, Warhammer 40k Space Marine 2.
For the Emperor.
Wait, nope. This is the one I was talking about.
Oh my
Oh,
god.
With the armor. Okay.
okay.
They're both excellent.
So Josh, Warhammer 40k Space Marine 2. The only reason this is in our lives is because of you, but we
Yes.
enjoyed it. So we actually had a lot of
so
votes
good.
for this across the board.
That actually surprises me. I thought it was a pity play. for
yeah,
you guys,
Nick is the
for
only
me.
person that did not put this in their top 5.
What? Me? Did you say me?
Yeah. This was my 5th favorite game. Josh's number 1, Christian's number 2, Jason's number 3, and Britt's number 2.
Wild.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah,
I love
a
it.
little bit about it.
I'm hoping we're like 2 years away from 40K becoming mainstream. There's a lot of discourse on the internet about that. There's a lot of nerds. You know, nerds get protective. Nerds gatekeep like a mug.
You're right.
So there's a lot of nerds out there who are really upset that this game is super popular. There's a lot of nerds out there who are really upset that the Henry Cavill series is moving forward. Shout out. Because they feel like their niche thing is becoming popular. It's like, bro, shut up. Like, the universe is awesome. It's killer. It's grimdark. It's amazing. The video game was amazing. Like, just enjoy that. Like, that you should be pumped that other people like the thing you like.
But to say, yeah, to your point, like some people that I run into, like I always bring up the podcast and then we're talking about like 40K. They're like, oh yeah. I'm like, oh, I've been thinking that it was some kind of like real niche thing, but people know about it.
Yeah.
Just don't talk about it.
It's like even like we've had an episode before where you guys basically just let me ramble about 40K. And like there's so many different media streams that it is in right now. Like there's people who are unaware that it's anything other than one of the biggest sci-fi book series on the face of the planet. They have no idea that it's a tabletop game or a video game or a like.
He's talking about me.
Yeah. So I mean, it's anyway. Point is, I was super stoked for this game. It got delayed for a year.
Mhm.
We like, and they did it like a couple of weeks before it was supposed to come out.
Yeah.
Like it was,
Oh,
it
no.
was kind of a
Yikes.
nut shot.
Ugh.
But they were really open and honest about it. They're just like, look, it's just not at a place where we want it to be. And they delayed it exactly one time. And they let you know up front it was going to be probably the better part of a year before we put it out. And then the only other announcement they made about it is when they finalized the date. Because when they delayed it, they didn't set a date. They said, we need like a year. And then 9 months later, they're like, yeah, 3 months. It's good. Let's go. So, and it was amazing.
So what made this such an exceptional game for you? For number one?
To me, it was that they did not try to alter what it was. They didn't try to make it anything other than what it was. It's another thing where it's a hyper fanatic fascist
Mhm.
sci-fi thing. And like those are things that can make people a little edgy these days. But no, they were just like, no, lean into it, bro. It's awesome for the Emperor. Let's go. So, and it was like, it was the fact that they didn't feel the need to water it down or make it, not even water it down, make it more palatable.
Mhm.
No, they just leaned into it instead. They were just like, let's make it as over the top and ridiculous as it can be. And that's how Warhammer should be. Like, it is a satire. It's just a very grim, dark satire.
I I love the feel of the game. That's probably the feel of the game is what the environment, I guess, is the background
world.
environment.
Yeah.
It's the
Because
kind
it's
of game
like-
that could not have existed 10 years ago.
Well,
5 years
It's
ago.
more like the background of the game or the environment in which you play in. It's like if the Gothic cathedral building from the Middle Ages kept going
Mm-hmm.
to Empire State Building and Sears Tower level of building, and then they use candles to light everything.
Yeah, you were so enamored by
Love
the
that.
candles.
I am so just like everything is Gothic cathedral, just like Notre Dame on steroids, all over the place. And then there's just like thousands of candles lighting the place. And for some reason, I love this. Don't know why,
dude. It's
love
a
it.
It's a vibe. Like that is nothing else has the 40K aesthetic.
Yeah,
like it is very cool.
And we actually played this game on our channel,
We did.
youtube.com/@eatsleep, where we did a whole LAN party here in this room.
Yes, it was a LAN party.
Yes, it was a LAN party. And Josh walked us through the game as we were playing it for the first time. It was Jason, Josh, and myself. And Josh talked us through the entire first mission. Then we actually co-opted the second mission. It was a fun time. We reviewed it, so find that review in our comments below to see what we thought about it. But obviously, highly, highly thought of.
Yeah, again, I'm actually really surprised.
Yeah.
I assumed you guys were just being nice to me.
No, that hour I came in after y'all reviewed it was fun.
For me, as soon as they had a specific button for when if a little guy jumps at you, you can snatch him out of the air and smash him into his friends. I was just like, yes, they got it right. That's what it looks like, yes.
Well, all right. That is going to wrap us up here for part 1 of our 3-part episode, where we discuss the top 5 best movies, television shows, and video games of 2024. Make sure you stay tuned to our YouTube channel over the next couple of days, because part 2, where we discuss the best television shows of 2024, will be airing on December 31st, and part 3, where we discuss the best movies of 2024, will be airing on New Year's Day, January 1st, 2025. So make sure you stay tuned for all of that. Now, before you head out, make sure you like this video, make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel, and leave some comments. Let us know what your favorite video games are of 2024, and please share us with your friends and family. We really appreciate that. We love the support. Now, have a happy nerd year. Take it easy, people.